The U.S. generates over 10 million megawatt hours of energy per day. Controlling climate change coupled with escalating energy demands is fast becoming the global challenge of the century. Electricity generation, which was dominated by coal in the year 2000 with over 50%, has fallen to less than 30% in 2018. Meanwhile, renewable energy production continues to grow, reaching nearly 10% nationwide in the United States. However, renewable energy production exceeds the national average in several states, reaching as high as 37% in Iowa and 20% in heavily populated California. Unlike other fuel sources, renewable energy such as solar and wind cannot be stored in their native form and is being wasted. California is already curtailing significant amounts of renewable energy on a monthly basis. Meanwhile, the climate continues to warm at rates faster than expected. The problem of climate change must be dealt with now, and will only get worse if we don't start to decarbonize our power generation methods. Renewable energies provides a pathway to clean energy, but will only become feasible at grid scale if we can solve the energy storage problem. Hydrogen is an energy carrier and provides a means to store and transport solar and wind power. The challenge is how to store hydrogen in large volumes to make it useful for grid-level power generation. Our company, Solar Wind Storage, has a simple and effective solution to this problem. Hydrogen can be produced by several methods, but the cleanest method is to produce it directly from water by means of electrolysis, which is a process in which water molecules are separated into their constituent elements of hydrogen and oxygen when the water is subjected to an electric current. Conceptually, this is how the process would work. The electrolyzer, which can be powered by any form of electric power, would be powered by solar and wind renewable energy sources. The electrolyzer disassociates the chemically bounded hydrogen and oxygen atoms in water, producing both hydrogen and oxygen gases, which are separated from each other by the electrolyzer membrane. The hydrogen gas is transported to and captured in a flooded underground chamber, which can be sized to store very large volumes of hydrogen gas. The power grid must be capable of meeting the power demand requirements, which can vary daily, weekly, and even seasonally. Likewise, both solar and wind renewable energy is intermittent and varies in terms of its output throughout the day. As seen in this graph, there are periods when the renewable energy does not provide enough to meet the power demand, and also periods where it exceeds the power demand requirements. The excess renewable energy is either lost or it can be used to power electrolysis, which, as indicated before, produces hydrogen. The hydrogen can then be stored in an underground chamber. The stored hydrogen gas can then be supplied to a fuel cell to regenerate electricity and offset the periods where renewable energy was insufficient to meet the power demands shown in the illustration as the yellow highlighted areas. A key component of our patented storage system is the use of a water-filled chamber. The water in the chamber is maintained under pressure, either hydrostatically by its own weight, or under constant pressure by regulating control valves which regulate the flow of water into and out of the chamber based on the hydrogen gas pressure. Operationally, as the pressurized hydrogen from the electrolyzer accumulates in the upper portion of the chamber, the water is forced back out of the chamber to the surface reservoir. The opposite happens when hydrogen is released from the chamber, with water flowing back into the chamber. In addition to maintaining the hydrogen under pressure and avoiding the need to recompress the gas after it is produced, the water acts to purge the chamber of air or any other contaminants. Since hydrogen is explosive, when the mixture contains 18 to 60% air, the water-filled chamber will maintain the hydrogen near the 100% level at all times, preventing any concerns for an explosive storage environment. The chambers are constructed using conventional mining shaft sinking technologies and can be constructed up to 20 feet in diameter to depths of up to 2,000 feet. These chambers can be constructed from the surface using existing rotary drilling mining technologies in line with steel or hydrogen-resistant composite materials. This provides the advantage that they can be built anywhere. The chambers are scalable by design, and a single large chamber can store as much as 8,000 megawatt hours of renewable energy. Once constructed, they are largely maintenance-free and will have a life expectancy in excess of 50 years. The only other means to store hydrogen in large volumes is to store it in underground salt caverns. The reason for using salt caverns is that salt is largely impervious to hydrogen and can maintain gas concentrations without excessive leakage. However, compared to man-made chambers, which can be constructed anywhere, salt caverns also have limitations in terms of hydrogen cycling, requires hydrogen gas compression prior to insertion, and is limited to withdrawal of only about 60% of the volume. Other than hydrogen, there are two basic types of energy storage systems currently in use: pumped hydro and compressed air, both of which are kinetic energy-based systems. Pumped hydro simply utilizes the gravitational potential energy of water. During periods of high electricity demand, power is generated by releasing the stored water through turbines in the same manner as a conventional hydropower station. During periods of low demand, the upper reservoir is recharged by using lower-cost electricity to pump the water back to the upper reservoir. Its most obvious disadvantage is that it requires geographical height and water ponding availability. The largest pumped hydro station in the world is in West Virginia. The system has enough water supply to operate for an 11-hour period and provide 24,000 megawatt hours of electricity. We can store more than that amount in two 16-foot diameter chambers 2,000 foot deep. Compressed air can also be stored in underground caverns like hydrogen, but works on a principle more similar to pumped hydro, in that the air is energized by being compressed and stored, and then the pressure is released to regenerate electricity through powering of surface turbines during times of higher demand. It is a relatively low efficiency system of less than 25%. It also requires considerable cooling of the air during the compression phase and reheating during the regeneration phase. There is only one operational unit in the United States located in Alabama. It has a 110 megawatt capacity with nearly 20 million cubic feet of compressed air. In comparison, a 3,500 cubic feet hydrogen chamber can store this amount of energy. And what about batteries? Can they provide grid levels of energy storage? One of the largest grid storage battery systems is in West Virginia, storing energy from a windmill farm. The system requires 18 batteries filling up a parking lot. We can store an hour's worth of energy at that capacity in one small chamber about the size of one of the battery units. Hydrogen clearly has the most potential to provide grid-level energy storage, both in terms of capacity and duration, capable of storing gigawatt levels of energy, accommodating both daily and seasonal storage demands. A single man-made underground chamber, as patented by Solar Wind Storage, can cover the full range of energy requirements provided by competing technologies of batteries, compressed air, and pumped hydro. Our storage system is based on established principles and requires no new technologies to be developed. The storage system can be installed anywhere it is needed. A single chamber can store enough energy to fully power 250,000 homes completely from renewable energy. There is more than enough solar and wind power in the Great Plains areas alone to power the entire United States. The universally recognized barrier to fully converting to a renewable energy and hydrogen-based economy is storage. We have the answer to this problem. No sun, no wind, no problem. Solar wind storage has a solution that is simple and effective.